Good morning, class. Today our class is on what your rights are, rights of individuals with developmental disabilities. Um, we usually do this as a yearly class, so we're just going to go over some things so that you know what your rights are, and it's very important that you do, um, because sometimes people's rights get violated, and that's not okay. So, it's good for us to go over this yearly, just as kind of an update. And typically, this is posted, when we get back to program. It's posted in the side office, or kind of the where we get the sodas and everything, like by spring, but kind of back in the back. Just so that if you ever want to review it, it's posted, and it's always been posted. And I think each program has it posted, you know, on site, just so everybody has a chance to read it and know. But then it's also good for us to go over what your rights are. So I'm gonna go over this stuff. I will have to take my glasses off, just showing my age a little bit, um, because some of the print is very small, and so it's difficult for me to read with my glasses on. And it's much easier for me to read without my glasses on. So let's get started on what your rights are, and it should be a good class. Alright, so we'll start with this one. And also, if you have any questions ever, about this after this class, please feel free to ask me. Ask me at any time, and, I'll go over anything that you need to go over. And you also have your case manager, so if you really feel your rights are being violated, and you don't feel comfortable coming to me, but you feel comfortable going to another staff or to one of the directors, then, feel free to do that. It's very important that if you feel your rights are being violated, that you let somebody know. So here's this. It's kind of a, here, I'll go back. Like I said, the print's very small, so it's difficult to read. And if we did this as a Zoom class, I'd be having to take my glasses off and I wouldn't be able to see any of you. Okay, so let's go over the first one. There, my glasses are off. And I have to look very closely at it. I'm nearsighted, so let's bring it near. You have the right to wear your own clothes, and you should be able to pick out the clothes you wear. So, anything that you want to wear, I mean, there are some things a program that, obviously even staff can't wear. So, but when it comes to buying your clothes, you have the right to choose your own clothes. Somebody doesn't need to choose them for you. You have the right to keep things in a private place that you can get into when you want. So, like your backpack, or we do have the lockers. I think we only have one of the lockers, but you have the right to have a place like that in order to put your stuff in. Typically, for us as inroads, it's a backpack is a good place, and that way, we can, as we're going around town, it'll be in the back of the van. You have the right to see your friends, families, girlfriends, or boyfriends every day, so no one should deprive you of that. If you have a significant other, or a family member that wants to see you, then you have the right to that. Somebody shouldn't take that right away from you. You have the right to use the telephone privately to make or get calls. This is important. Most of us have cell phones, and I think at least a program, I know this is a good right for you to have. You have the right to have paper, stamps, and envelopes for writing letters. You have the right to get mail. Oh, you have the right to mail and get letters that are not opened. And honestly, it's actually a federal crime if somebody does open your mail. I mean, if you have an understanding with a person, maybe it's okay. But really, if you don't want somebody to open your mail and it's been opened, that's not okay. You have the right to say no to electric shock therapy. This is a therapy that most people don't do anymore, but you have the right if somebody says we think you need to get electric shock therapy, that you have the right to say no. That doesn't sound right, and I don't want to do that. But it used to be a very, unfortunately, practiced a lot more. You have the right to say no to anybody trying to change the way you act by hurting you, scaring you, or upsetting you. So definitely, if somebody's scaring you or hurting you, um, staff or anyone, then you should really let somebody know. You should let your staff member know, and that staff member should go to the directors if you ever feel that way. I promise you that it's an important thing. Or you can go directly to the directors and say, hey, this is what's going on, and hopefully they can rectify the situation. You have the right to say no to brain surgery that most people want to because of the way you act. Again, something that used to happen quite a bit. Um, they, yeah, used to be like frontal lobe lobotomies. You have the right to say no to that. That's not something that you need. You're great the way you are. Don't let anybody change that. You have the right to choose how you want to spend your free time and who you spend it with. So, you have the right to your friends and to hang out with them. And whatever it is you want to go do, as long as it's not breaking the law, you have the right to go do it. You have the right to services that help you live, work, and play in the most normal way possible. You have the right to keep and spend your money on the things that you want and keep and use your own things. I will be doing another class on abuse later, and one of them is financial abuse, and when people take your money and use it for themselves without your consent, then that's called financial abuse. You have the right to be treated well and with respect. Most all of these are universal rights. Everybody deserves that, and if you feel disrespected, let somebody know. You have the right to spend time alone or alone with a friend, and you should have that right, like kind of like your own room and things like that, so that you have time to just hang out. You have the right to go to school, and you definitely have that right. Like the college, we take classes there, and you have the right to go to whatever class you want. And Inroads is very good at making sure that those things happen. You have the right to see a doctor as soon as you need to. Please do that if you're concerned about something. You have the right to be involved in a religion if you want to be. So again, also kind of on the flip side of that, if you don't want to be, you also have the right to that. You have the right to meet people and take part in your community activities. It's true. You have the right to exercise and have fun. Very universal. I like having fun. And I don't think anybody could take that from me, and I don't want them to take it from me. You have the right to say no to things that will put you in danger. So if you're afraid of something, you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You have the right to make choices about where you live, who you live with, the way you spend your time, and who you spend your time with. So if you want to move into a group home, you have the right to do that. You have the right to move out and go do your own thing. That is definitely a right of yours. You have the right to say no to drugs. being tied down or held down, or being forced to be alone unless it is necessary to protect you or someone else. Yeah, that's all kind of bad. So you have the right to say no to a lot of things that if you feel it's wrong, you know, you have the right to say no. And you have other rights as provided by law or regulations. So um, again, you know, you have the rights to many things, and like you have the right to say yes to things that you want to do. So so it kind of goes over everything that way. All right, so let's go on to the next page. All right. So this is a discussion of rights and responsibilities. So what your rights are and what the responsibilities are. Well, this is much better print. It is not so small. So your rights, you have to go to various places in the community. You have that right. Yeah, but your responsibilities are to act in a safe manner, not to be a risk to yourself or others, and to use resources in an appropriate way. For example, public restroom, public transportation, making purchases, not stealing, etc., etc. Anything that would be breaking the law, and just having general respect. Like if you wash your hands and you get water all over the sink at, say, program, just wipe it down. And then, there's paper towels right there. Just to, kind of keep things. My rule is, like if I ever go somewhere, I want to make it either look just the same as it was before I got there, or even better. Like if I go to the park and I notice trash, I'll pick up the trash, just like we do at most of the parks. But we do it for work. I do it just because it's the right thing to do. Another right. To have your own individualized plan, ISP or IHSP, describing the goals you would like to achieve and the assistance that you will need. And so your responsibility is to take your goals seriously and put effort into achieving them, to let staff know if you would like to work on different goals that are more meaningful to you. And, this is a big thing. When you have your ISPs, please speak up and say, like, this is what I want to do. If you really enjoy your goals, just let us know. Like, yeah, no, I like working on this. But in terms of, if you don't say something and then, your ISP's over and you had your chance, then it's more difficult to actually change that goal. But you have the right to that. So you have the right to be treated with respect, and your responsibility there is to treat others with respect. You have the right to have a job. That's true. And then you also have the right, but your responsibility, is to meet the requirements of the job and to fulfill job responsibilities to keep the job. You don't want to get fired from your job. It's not fun. It's only happened once for me, and it wasn't fun. A long time ago. But you have the right to vote or to not vote. But if with your right to vote, your responsibility would be to educate yourself about the candidates and the issues, propositions, and measures you will be voting on. And again, staff can help you with that. Help kind of explain. Your family can also help explain. This is what this means. This is what that means. And you also have the right to not vote on certain things that you're like, I don't have an opinion here or there. Another right you have is to participate in a program. and receive individualized services. And so, but your responsibility when it comes to that, it's a big old list. But the list says that your responsibility at a program is to follow the rules of the program as they have been explained to you, which when you do your intake, they're always explained. Act in a safe way. Be respectful of others and their personal belongings, so don't go through other people's stuff. Tell staff if you have a problem or concern. Listen to staff and let them know if you don't agree with something. Follow specific rules for going out into the community. For example, wearing safety belts in vehicles. Please do that. Staying with your group, being safe when crossing the street, and carrying an ID of some sort. Keep yourself busy with meaningful activities, even during non-paid time at program. Not leaving program without telling staff, and maintaining good attendance. So showing up is very important at program. Because there are certain requirements for how much you actually attend program. And so that's those are a lot of the things that you have. And if there's anything else that you would like to bring up to me, again, feel free to call me and say, what about this? What about that? I don't mind at all. It's my job to be able to talk to you all and make sure that you feel safe. It's all of our staff's, responsibility to make sure that everybody feels safe. All right. Next part. Oh, I think I have too much stuff here. All right. So, grievance procedure. So, in the spirit of encouraging self-determination and fair treatment, it is a policy of Vistability to have a clear channel of communication such that grievances or complaints can be responded to in a timely manner. So a grievance is if you do have something that you're upset with, these are the steps for you to take. Step 1, the person will speak with the person involved in the grievance within 24 hours of the problem. A reply should be received within 24 hours after the complaint has been presented. And so, it should happen within a day, but 24 hours. So if it doesn't happen all in one day, it carries over to the next day, but it will still be dealt with. Step 2. If the grievance is not resolved, then the person will speak to his or her assigned program manager or supervisor. The program manager serves as an advocate in the grievance procedure, giving advice, scheduling meetings, directing the person through the procedure, and whatever else is requested. Step number 3 of a grievance procedure. If the grievance is not resolved, then it is submitted to the program coordinator within 24 hours. A reply should be received within 24 hours after the grievance has been presented. At this point, the program manager is responsible for entering a brief description of the grievance and the resolution in the case file. And this is why we have the blue books and everything like that. Step 4. If the grievance is still unresolved in the opinion of the person, then it must be submitted in writing to the division director. Within the next 48 hours, the division director will review the grievance and schedule a meeting with the person or representative. The response to the grievance will be in writing within 24 hours of the meeting. Step number 5. If the grievance remains unresolved, the division director will forward the written documents to Vistability's executive director, who will respond in writing within 3 days. Step number 6. If the grievance is still unresolved, then the issue will be added to the agenda of the next board of directors meeting, where it must reach resolution. The person or representative has the right to attend this meeting. All grievances or complaints are resolved on an individual basis. And it is always the hope that any grievance can be resolved at the first step of this process by exchanging reasons for dissatisfaction, clarifying misunderstandings, and compromising when appropriate. However, if this is not the case, this procedure should result in complete understanding and hopefully satisfaction by the person involved at Vistability. And let me see it. This might be a whole other training. Just give me a second. Here, I'll pause it so you don't have to wait for it. And boom, I'm back with glasses on because I don't have to read anymore. But I do want to say that your rights are very important to everyone at Vistability, and to me. And, I think everyone's rights should always be adhered to. And, make sure that we feel respected and that we're respecting others. And know that, what we just went over here is something that, if we want it ourselves, which we should, then we should want it for others. But like I said, anytime you have a question that you feel all right with me answering, I'm here for you. So that'll be the end of the class. I know sometimes people don't like when my classes go too long, and we're at about 20 minutes. So I'll let you go, but let me know if you have any questions, and like I said, I'm here to answer. Okay, miss y'all. Bye.